What makes you, you? Is it the face in the mirror, the name you whisper to yourself? Or the memories that flicker behind your eyes like old film reels? Let's begin with a paradox, as ancient as philosophy itself, a riddle that unravels the very notion of self. In a harbour long forgotten, there sailed a vessel known as the ship of Theseus. Over centuries, storms gnawed at its hull, salt air corroded its nails, and time itself became its silent crew. Piece by piece the ship was repaired, new planks for old, fresh canvas for frayed sails, until not a splinter of the original remained. And here the philosophers ask, is it still the ship of Theseus, or is it something new, a phantom wearing the name of the past? Plutarch posed this question in the 1st century, but its echoes haunt us still. If every cell in your body replaces itself over 7 years, are you still you? The 17th century thinker Thomas Hobbes took it further. What if someone gathered all the discarded planks and rebuilt the original ship? Which one claims the title, the ship of renewal or the ship of relics? We cling to identity like a lifeline. We tattoo our skin, archive photos, swear we're the same person who loved, feared, dreamed decades ago. But the ship of Theseus whispers, "You are a river, not a stone." Heraclitus said, "No man steps in the same river twice, for both the man and the river have changed. Are we not ships, forever sailing into unknown waters, our bodies and minds in quiet revolt against stagnation? Now let's descend into a subtler maze. Take a heap of sand, 1,000 golden grains. Remove one, is it still a heap? Remove another, and another. At what precise moment does the heap become a non-heap? A single grain? 10? 50? This is the Sorite's paradox, from the Greek soros, a heap. It is a riddle of vagueness, a flaw in the blade of logic. Language falters here. We define the world in absolutes, bald or hairy, rich or poor, alive or dead, but reality exists in gradients. A single hair's absence doesn't make one bald. A single penny doesn't make one poor. Yet somewhere, invisibly, the threshold is crossed. Where? The answer slips through our fingers like sand. And what of you? When does a child become an adult? When does grief become acceptance? We are heaps of moments, of cells, of thoughts. A single grain defines us, yet together they weave the illusion of a self. The Buddhist doctrine of anatta declares there is no permanent soul, only a flowing aggregate. Modern neuroscience agrees. Your brain rewires itself daily, yet you wake each morning insisting, "I am here." Consider Trigger's broom, a joke from a British sitcom. A street sweeper brags his broom has lasted 20 years. Though, it's had 17 new heads and 14 new handles. Is it the same broom? Is anything? We replace memories, shed beliefs, abandon old selves like snakeskin, yet we point to scars and say, "This is where I was hurt," as if the body is a museum of the past. Perhaps identity is not a fortress but a story, a narrative we stitch together to survive the chaos of existence. We are all ships of Theseus, sailing on the edge of paradox. So tonight, let go of the need to be solid, fixed, eternal. Let yourself be the river, the flame, the shifting sand. Drift and dream of the mysteries yet unsolved. Time is the most patient trickster. It binds us to clocks and calendars, yet slips through our fingers like smoke. Tonight, we wander its labyrinth where past, present, and future collide. Imagine a clockmaker obsessively perfecting his craft. One day, he builds a machine, not to measure time, but to defy it. He steps into the past, armed with a single mission, to prevent his grandfather's death in a long-ago war. He succeeds, but as his grandfather's heart resumes its beat, the clockmaker feels his own pulse fade. If his grandfather lives, his father is never born. If his father is never born, how does the clockmaker exist to undo the past? This is the grandfather paradox, a snake devouring its own tail. Causality unravels, but what if time is not a straight path, but a forest of branching realities? Physicist Hugh Everett theorized infinite parallel worlds. In one, the clockmaker vanishes, in another, he survives, forever severed from his original timeline. Yet Einstein's equations suggest time is a block universe, past, present, and future, fixed like chapters in a book. If so, can we truly change anything? Or are we merely readers mistaking the turn of a page for free will? We are haunted by time's asymmetry. We remember the past, but not the future. Yet physicist Carlo Rovelli argues time is an illusion, a blur of quantum events. At the microscopic level, particles dance without direction. Only when we step back, when entropy rises, when coffee cools and eggs crack, does time's arrow emerge. But in the clockmaker's paradox, even entropy falters. The universe, it seems, abhors a contradiction. Now let us wade deeper into the maze. A woman sits at a piano composing a symphony. The melody comes to her in a dream. Haunting, perfect. Decades later, her music echoes through concert halls, but a time traveler, adrift in the centuries, hears the symphony and carries it back to the past. She gifts the sheet music to the composer's younger self. Who then created the symphony? It has no origin. It is a snake coiled in a circle, swallowing its own tail. This is the bootstrap paradox, a closed loop where cause becomes effect and effect becomes cause. The philosopher René Descartes once wrote, "I think, therefore I am." But what if the I is borrowed? What if your thoughts, your inventions, your very existence are echoes from a future that cannot exist without you? The physicist John Wheeler speculated that reality might be a self-excited circuit, where observers create the past by observing it. A particle's path is decided only when measured, so too might history crystallize from our collective gaze. We are storytellers, stitching time into narratives. We mourn yesterday, cling to today, dread tomorrow. Yet in the block universe, your first breath and last sigh exist simultaneously. The child you were, the elder you'll become, they are all here now. Does this absolve us of regret? Or make every choice a monument to fate? Time is not a line, but a mosaic. Each moment, a shard of glass reflecting all others. Surrender to the paradox. Let the stars above remind you. Some mysteries are not meant to be solved but felt. Close your eyes and let time carry you. Reality is a stage and quantum mechanics its enigmatic playwright. Tonight we step into the wings where light is both particle and wave, where cats defy death and twins age apart. Let us unmask the shadows. In 1935, Erwin Schrödinger devised a thought experiment to expose the absurdity of quantum theory. Imagine a sealed box. Inside, a cat, a vial of poison, and a single radioactive atom. If the atom decays, the vial shatters. If not, the cat lives. But until the box is opened, quantum law insists the atom exists in both states, decayed and intact. Thus, the cat is both alive and dead. A paradox, yes, but also a mirror. We recoil at the idea of a cat suspended between life and death. Yet this is how particles behave. Electrons spin in multiple directions at once. Photons pass through two slits simultaneously. Only when observed do they choose a state. Does consciousness force reality to collapse? Or is reality a tapestry of probabilities woven tighter by our gaze? Consider this. You are the box. Your thoughts, desires, fears, countless possibilities. Only when you act, when you choose, does one path solidify. The rest vanish like smoke. Schrödinger's cat is not cruelty, it is an elegy for the selves we might have been, the lives unlived. Quantum physics whispers, you are both the observer and the observed. Now let us meet two sisters. One stays rooted to Earth, tending her garden. The other boards a starship, hurtling through the cosmos. At near light speed, decades pass. When the traveler returns, she steps from her ship, a woman barely aged. Her earthbound sister, now elderly, embraces a ghost from the past. This is Einstein's twin paradox, a collision of time and motion. Time dilates. Velocity and gravity stretch it like taffy. To the astronaut, her journey felt brief, a blink. To her sister, it was an eternity. Yet here's the rub. From the traveler's view, Earth was the speeding object. Each twin watches the other's clock slow. How can both be true? Relativity answers, there is no universal now. Truth fractures. Your now is an island. Mine, a distant shore. We are bound to our frames of reference. A daydreamer's hour is a laborer's ordeal. Grief stretches seconds into eons. Joy melts them like snow. Einstein called time a stubbornly persistent illusion. Yet we measure our lives by it. Birthdays, anniversaries, the ticking clock by the bed. What if time is not a river but an ocean? What if every moment, past, future, is a wave, eternal and unchanging, while we are merely surfers, convinced we move forward? Quantum physics and relativity agree on one truth. Reality is relational. A particle's spin depends on how you measure it. A twin's age depends on how you move. There is no view from nowhere. We are always here, anchored to our bodies, our perspectives, and yet the universe insists on entanglement. Particles, separated by light years, mirror each other instantly. Twins, though parted, remain connected by a thread deeper than time. Let us release the need for certainty. Tonight, surrender to the quantum shadows, where light is both wave and particle, where time bends and where you, too, might exist. In endless states, close your eyes, feel the paradox hum in your bones. You are the experiment and the observer. Sleep and let the mysteries unfold. The universe is a cathedral of silence. Its vaults stretch 93 billion light-years wide, its pews filled with stars. Yet we kneel in the quiet asking, are we alone? Let us confront the void and its deafening reply. In the summer of 1950, physicist Enrico Fermi posed a question over lunch. Where is everybody? The math was clear. Billions of Earth-like planets orbit billions of suns. Life, given time, should bloom everywhere. Intelligence, curiosity, ambition, these too. Yet our radios hear nothing. Our skies show no sails of distant ships. This is the Fermi paradox, the crushing contradiction between probability and silence. Perhaps civilizations are tragically fragile. Nuclear fire, climate collapse, rogue AI, the great filter wipes them out before they can speak. Or maybe we are ants in a meadow, oblivious to boot heels hovering above. The zoo hypothesis suggests they watch but do not interfere, preserving our innocence or their own. Or perhaps life is rarer than we dare admit. A single spark in a universe of tinder, but no flame. There is a darker answer. Imagine a galaxy once teeming with song. Empires rose, built beacons to shout across the void. And then, one by one, went silent. A cosmic graveyard. We are orphans stumbling onto a stage after the audience has left. The stars glitter like bones. Now let us turn the kaleidoscope. What if reality is not real? Philosopher Nick Bostrom proposed a haunting idea. Advanced civilizations could run simulations of their ancestors. If so, odds are we are inside one. Elon Musk once mused, there's a 1 in billions chance we're in base reality. Glitches in the matrix, déjà vu, quantum quirks might be artifacts of code, a universe rendered on hardware older than time. But does it matter? If this is a simulation, is pain less real? Is love, a poem written in ones and zeros, still bleeds? The 17th century thinker George Berkeley claimed reality exists only when perceived. To be is to be perceived. Yet here we are, perceivers and perceived, trapped in a loop. Perhaps the simulators watch us as we watch ants, curious, indifferent, amused by our yearning. We are creatures of paradox. We send radio waves into the dark, hoping for a reply, yet dread what might answer. Carl Sagan wrote, "The universe seems neither benign nor hostile, merely indifferent." But indifference is its own terror. To scream into the void and hear only an echo of your voice, is that not the loneliest sound? Or perhaps silence is a mercy. In Contact, Jodie Foster's character whispers they should have sent a poet. But poets need mysteries. Answers might shatter us. The truth could be a black hole, inescapable, devouring hope. Or it could be a mirror, showing us we are the aliens we seek, fragmented and yearning. Tonight, let the silence hold you. We are stardust made conscious, aching to solve riddles older than light. But some questions are sanctuaries. To wonder is to touch infinity. So breathe. Let the desert wind carry your fears into the dark. You are here. You are alive. And in this moment, the cosmos, simulation or not, sings through you. Truth wears many masks. Tonight, we unmask two final paradoxes, one that gnaws at the roots of reason, and another that reveals how fiction breathes life into stone. Let us wander to the edge where logic dissolves. In the 6th century BCE, a Cretan prophet named Epimenides declared, "All Cretans are liars. If he tells the truth, he lies. If he lies, he tells the truth." This is the liar paradox, a sentence that strangles itself in its own logic. Philosophers have wrestled it for millennia. In the 20th century, Kurt Gödel wielded it like a scalpel, proving that even mathematics contains statements that are true but unprovable. Reality, it seems, is built on quicksand. Language betrays us. We build towers of reason, laws, algorithms, moral codes, only to watch them sway. The liar paradox is a ghost in the machine, a reminder that all systems contain blind spots. Even our self-awareness is a hall of mirrors. I am a liar, you say, but if you believe it, are you honest? If you deny it, are you deceitful? The paradox is a Mobius strip, looping endlessly. It whispers, certainty is the greatest lie. In Zen Buddhism, monks meditate on koans, riddles with no answer. What is the sound of one hand clapping? The purpose is not to solve, but to shatter the mind's addiction to logic. The liar paradox is a Western koan. It asks us to dwell in the discomfort, to find peace in the unanswerable. For what is a human, if not a walking contradiction? We crave order, yet thrive in chaos. Now let us turn the page. You sit in a theater. Hamlet weeps over Ophelia's grave. Your chest tightens, tears warm your cheeks, but Hamlet never lived. Ophelia never drowned. Why does fiction pierce us so? This is the paradox of fiction. How can we feel real grief for imaginary lives? Philosopher Colin Radford argued that such emotions are irrational, a glitch in the human psyche. Yet glitches reveal deeper truths. When Achilles mourns Patroclus in the Iliad, we mourn with him. When a child sobs for Simba's father in The Lion King, their sorrow is no less real. Fiction, it seems, bypasses reason. It speaks directly to the limbic brain where logic holds no sway. We are creatures of story, wired to empathize with shadows. Samuel Taylor Coleridge called it the willing suspension of disbelief. But perhaps disbelief is never truly suspended. We know Dracula isn't real, yet we check the locks. We know Sherlock Holmes is fiction, yet fans still visit 221B Baker Street. Stories are spells. They reshape reality. Religions are built on parables, nations on myths. The paradox of fiction whispers, emotion is the truest truth. Consider this. A mother tells her child a bedtime story. The tale is invented, yet the comfort is real. The child's laughter, their nightmares, both born from illusion. We live in a web of fictions, money, borders, even time itself. Yet these illusions bind us, give meaning to the chaos. As Yuval Noah Harari wrote, humans think in stories rather than in facts or equations. To be human is to be Homo fictus, the storytelling ape. And so we arrive at the end of our journey where logic and fiction embrace like long-lost twins. Truth is not a mountain to conquer, but an ocean to drown in. Let these paradoxes cradle you, surrender to the mystery. For in the space between certainty and doubt, there is room to breathe, to dream, to be. Close your eyes now, and let the lies of logic carry you home.